Hello FlossTube, my name is Leanne and I am leann.stitches here on YouTube and on Instagram. Today is Sunday, October 3rd, 2021, and this is my 18th FlossTube. This is a channel where I talk about my cross stitch and anything else that might be going on, but mostly we talk about cross stitch. And today is exciting because it's all over Instagram and YouTube and everything, but it's finally October and that means we get to do all things Halloween, and I'm very excited. I have some fun plans. But first, I want to show you what I did last week, and then we'll talk about some October plans and next week plans. And then I have a little bit of haul to show you, mostly more patterns because I've been on a pattern buying binge lately. I don't know why. Anyway, let's get into it. First, as always, is Marvel Heroes. This is by Popular Cross Stitch. Used to be on Etsy. The shop is no longer there, but that's where I got this one. And this is one of my focus pieces for this year. I'm trying to finish it by next year. I did not get that much done on it. I didn't stitch it all yesterday. Oh no, that's not true. I stitched in the morning, and then I went to work all day, and then I didn't stitch at night. I went to bed at like 9 o'clock because I'd worked all day. Anyway, this is where I am. Oh, it's stuck on my blanket. So I am still working on completing the 939 on this page, and I'm almost done. I got done all the way through this side, and now I'm working down this side. I think if I have anything left in the middle here, it's just like little single confetti stitches, and I've got a little bit in there because this dude, I think his name is Thing. It's his head, and so there's usually some 939 for eyes and stuff. But Spider-Man is in here somewhere. I think he's right there. So it's pretty exciting. This page is going to be pretty exciting. I'm not super looking forward to all the confetti that makes up this guy's body, especially because, as I've complained extensively, that I wasn't able to get this page compatible with Pattern Keeper like I was the last one. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to handle that confetti yet, but there we are. So yeah, I work on my Marvel piece on Saturdays. I'll put my hashtag right up there, but I do Superhero Saturday Sal, and I invite anyone who has a superhero piece to stitch on to stitch with me on Saturdays and use the hashtag on Instagram so I can see what you're up to. I've been doing this for almost the whole year, and it's really been a lot of fun. After that piece, I worked on, as part of Mary 25 stitching, I worked on this Dimensions gold ornament, and I am trying to finish this one as well as the two other ones I have from this series. There were 6 total. I'm trying to finish these by the end of the year. I don't know that'll happen, but I had a lot of fun stitching on this one. I forgot how much fun they are. And last week I had said that I had finished all of the full crosses and I just had the half crosses left, and I was so wrong. Because this whole side right here is more of these green evergreen trees, and I haven't done a single bit of it, and that's all full crosses. So, but I did work on the sky. I had some left in here to finish. I had some half crosses left of some of the sky that peeks through the trees, and so I did that, and I had some stuff up here left, and so I just filled in everything that was left on the church, and then I started at the top with the sky and I started working my way down. I did get a lot of progress. I don't know how many stitches it was. I didn't count because it's a paper pattern, but I did not want to stop. So I'm not really sure how this is going to fit in with my October stitching plans because I'm trying to focus on Halloween and spooky pieces, but I might have to get it in there somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, on Mondays, I work on my Mirabilia Royal Holiday, and this is that piece. Another one that I don't want to put down ever. I never want to put it down. I just want to stitch on it forever. I did not get a lot of time to stitch on it on Monday night. Just another late night at crochet class, and I was exhausted. The class didn't even go that long. So I don't know what I'm talking about, but I didn't stitch that much on Monday, but I did take Tuesday off, Wednesday off. I took one day off this week, and I say that laughingly because I never actually get a day off. Normally what happens is I spend half my day working from home and answering questions from everybody at work. And then this day, which I want to say maybe it was Wednesday, I spent half the day in the doctor's office waiting for an appointment. So I am having a really hard time folding this in a way that's going to make it so I can show off what I stitched. Anyway, so I did stitch on this some that day as well. And I filled in up here a little bit. I had some holes in here, and then I basically just kept stitching down and across, just trying to fill in that dress. And right here is where her red and white coat comes in. And so I'm trying to finish the dress part first before I do that. And I'm kind of struggling a little bit only because when I started it, somehow in here, I ended up with an extra stitch. And I'm not really sure where or how I did it. So I think after I get to this set of swirly cues, I might go in and do all of the swirls, because I think that if I don't, that extra stitch is going to mess me up and my swirls are going to end up broken, if that makes sense. So I think I'm going to do that next, and then I can go back in and fiddle with that extra stitch that's in there somewhere so that everything looks okay. But yeah, this is so much fun to work on. I'm using a 32 count Belfast linen that I hand dyed in just this dark green colorway. I just played around on the dye pot that day and until it was the way I liked. So yeah. Then I worked on the Addams Family Sal. And just like I always say, this is by Just Stitch Design. Just like I always say, this isn't the full piece. It's just the only one that I have printed. And I spent one day working on this and did not want to put it down. That's going to be a theme this week. I didn't want to put anything down. I'm going to show the full thing first because it's very large, and then I'll show you in detail where I worked. Oh, can you see that? The whole thing. So that's the whole piece. And then I worked here. I finished this roof, and then I did the outline. And I think last week I said this was Morticia's room, and I was wrong. This is Wednesday's room. So I did the outline for her room, and then I started with this chest, and my goal was to get done with that octopus because it is seriously cool. But I have quite a long way to go. Wednesday's room isn't in the picture that I just showed, but you've got Wednesday Addams, and I think you have a bed, and there's like a noose in every room, and there's some, I don't remember what else, but there's still quite a lot of work to go. But the rooms are a lot of fun to stitch. A lot of them are full coverage or almost all full coverage. So it's a lot of stitching, but there's so many cool details that Justin put in that it's just so much fun to stitch. On Wednesday, I worked on Dark Voyager, which is some artwork that my son found online, and I charted in Stitch Fiddle to make a full coverage piece. And it's a character from Fortnite, so he says. I don't know. But he liked it, and I couldn't find a poster of him, so I made a pattern for him. He doesn't know I'm stitching it. So I'm just continuing on with this blue. I worked kind of at the edge, I think, here, and then I started down here. And this blue basically goes all the way down to the bottom. It kind of just skirts the whole side all the way down to the bottom of the piece. So I'm kind of debating on whether or not I'm just going to follow it all the way down to the bottom, or if I'm going to stop when I hit the edge of this Q-snap and keep going this way. I'm not really sure, but for now I'm just doing a lot of blue. but it's such easy stitching, and especially if it's been a long day, it's really fun to work on. And then the last piece I worked on this week is Once Upon a Fairy Tale by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And I got a lot of stitching done on this because for some reason on Friday, I did like 800 stitches, 824 stitches. So I got almost 1,300 stitches done. Not that you can tell on a piece this big, but here's where I'm at now. And when I started, I had black on my thread because I was working on these books over here. So I just kept going with the black, and I finished over here. I was either on this book or this book. I finished over there and I came down here and I just did a lot of this black detailing. And then after that, I went to the sky in here and I kind of just picked a color and followed it, basically color completed for the page. So I did get a lot of stitching in. I don't think that there's necessarily any more detail than there was before, although I was pretty excited. I started stitching in this lamppost in the light, which has kind of been a goal of mine to get into that one. And then I worked on these books a lot. I filled in this highlight on this book a lot. I worked on this purple in here, and I want to say I filled in a lot over here. Somewhere down here, I worked a lot. There was a lot of grayish purple. So lots of stitches. It definitely looks fuller. I don't think it necessarily looks any more detailed than it did when I started, but I still had fun, and that's all that matters, right? So that's everything I stitched on last week. So for October, I really wanted to do like a Spooktober, spooky stitching, something. I have 6 Halloween themed or spooky themed projects, WIPs, works in progress, going right now. And I haven't really given all of them very much attention this year. I've really focused a lot on full coverage, and none of these pieces are full coverage. So I thought it would be really fun to just work almost exclusively on them in October. I am still going to do Marvel on my Superhero Saturdays, and I am still going to do my Mirabilia Mondays. And so I've just kind of split up the rest of the time in a way that kind of made sense to where I'd still get, 3 to 4 days per project so I could make some good progress. The one thing I did notice is that I did not put any of my family pieces in, which would be Frozen, Mini Realm of Enchantment, or Dark Voyager. And I didn't put in my Mary 25 stitching. So I'm not really sure when it gets closer to the end of the month, which is when all that comes into play. I might be tired of stitching on Halloween, so I might go ahead and work on some of those, or who knows. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, right? So, but for this week, I can tell you, today, which it's already 4 o'clock, so I'm not sure how much I'll get done today. I'm going to work on Halloween Quaker. And I used this as a somewhat of a focus piece for a little while this year. After I finished Beauty and the Beast, Halloween Quaker became my oldest WIP. Technically Marvel Heroes is my oldest WIP now, but for the purpose of Magical Stitches, I'm using Marvel Heroes in a full coverage battle. So I can't use it for that purpose. So Halloween Quaker became my oldest WIP. And that means that anytime I want to do penalty stitching on the weekly homework, you use your oldest WIP. So for a while, I was just stitching on this and trying to get 1,000 stitches a week in to satisfy homework. And then I stopped for a while. I think it was when I was doing all that model stitching in August. I kind of put it aside and I haven't really picked it back up. So this is going to be my piece that I work on every Sunday this week. I think that shows everything I've done. Maybe not. And I'm going to do it hoping that I can get most of my weekly homework in. This is really wrinkled because it's been on the Q-snap all summer, basically. So it's a little hard to show, but that's where I'm at. I'm somewhere in between half and 2/3 done with this piece. And I thought if I kept using it as a focus piece for homework, someone suggested I might be able to finish it in time for Halloween, and that's not going to happen now, but I'm still really enjoying it. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'll stitch on that today, and maybe I can get another one of the motifs done, see how that goes. This is, I believe this is a 40 count. And since this is my oldest whip, it means I started it before I really knew anything about cross stitch. So I am doing that 2/2. I bought it as a kit from 1-2-3 Stitch, which means I think I might run out of floss since I did it 2/2 and I should have done it 1/2. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, and then Monday I'll work on Mirabilia, and then Tuesday, and every Tuesday this month, this is going to be my other kind of focus piece this month, is the All Hallows Eve sampler by Joan Elliott. And I've worked on this one a little bit this year, but not a lot. I'm still on the first page, but that's where I'm at. I am almost done with the alphabet, I think, or at least this first page of the alphabet. I think this is the last line down here. I made a mistake here where my A is lopsided and my B is up 1 stitch too high because my A is lopsided, and I haven't quite decided if I'm going to fix it or if I'm just going to leave it. I think I'm going to wait until the whole alphabet's done before I decide. So for now, I'm just continuing stitching on. But I'll probably just keep going down the page and finish that alphabet out. And this is a 32 count Belfast Opalescent, hand dyed by me. It's not a repeatable colorway, so I think the closest colorway I have to this one is Tumbleweed in the shop. It was kind of a precursor to that colorway. So yeah, that's that one. And then I keep using the word focus piece because I don't know what else to call it, but basically I'm going to do Halloween Quaker on Sundays, Mirabilia Mondays, All Hallows Eve on Tuesdays, and then Wednesday through Friday I'm going to stitch on one of the other 4 Halloween pieces I have. And the reason why I did this is because not this week, but next week is my kids' fall break, and we are going to the beach from Wednesday through Saturday. And I know just from experience that generally when we go on vacation, I don't have time to stitch. And I also don't want to bring a lot of stitching stuff with me because we don't have a lot of room in the car because we put our 3rd row up. And then we have all of our beach stuff that we have to bring. And so I just know that we won't have a lot of time. And I also know from experience that when we stay in a hotel, I don't get any stitching time because when my kids go to bed, the lights are out and we're all in the same room. And so it's not conducive to any stitching time. And we haven't really stayed in a hotel since COVID. We kind of take fewer trips and we spend more money and get like a condo or a house or somewhere where we can stay in our little bubble but still be away, and somewhere where we can, get groceries and bring them in and cook at home and stay as safe as possible. So there might be more stitching time, but I don't really know. So long story short, not long story long, I'm going to do that. That's what spurred on my Wednesday through Friday stitching, because we'll be gone Wednesday through Saturday. So when we get home on that Saturday, if I'm not exhausted from driving 7 hours with 3 kids fighting the whole way, I'll stitch on Marvel that day. But any stitching I do while we're gone, I'll just have 1 piece to focus on. So all that said, this week I'm going to work on Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. And look, I put it the right way. I always turn it that way, but I did it the right way this time. Woohoo! Small victories. And I'm stitching on this with Sam from Sammy Liz and Sarah from Memphis Sarah E and Bobby from Pumpkin Creek Primitives, who I always want to call Bonnie when I'm talking about her on my video, but her name is Bobby. And our hashtag is Halloween at HRHSal. I'll put it up there. So if you're working on this, use the hashtag so I can follow. And here is my starting point. And I worked on this just a week ago or so because if you remember, I was waxing poetically about my mermaid right there. So I'll probably just continue on with the blue, and I kind of want to stitch this sinking ship right there. So I might work on that some. But I have 3 days, and this is the block that I'm working on is basically full coverage. So I think what I'm going to do is there's some words up here So I'll probably do those words. I might even do the frame if I feel so inspired. And then, like I said, work on that chip. I don't know. Those are all possibilities. We'll see what happens. But that's, as far as plans for the next week, that's what I'm feeling. We'll see how it goes, because sometimes plans are meant to be broken. Haul. So I actually have 2 weeks of haul to show you. And like I said, I've been on a pattern buying binge. So it is mostly going to be patterns that I have received in the last 2 weeks. And I did most of my pattern buying at Everything Cross Stitch. My last haul that I showed you was from Bobby at Pumpkin Creek Primitives. And when I went shopping at Everything Cross Stitch, a lot of the patterns were back ordered, and so they've kind of been trickling in. For some reason, they're shipping, like the big shipment, they shipped priority, so I got it. The rest of it, they shipped first class mail, which I get, it's cheaper, but there's no tracking, and so a lot of it, even though they shipped it, hasn't made it to me. And I bought some stuff, I bought 4 patterns quite a while ago that they shipped first class, and they never made it. And they shipped me another batch after, when they hadn't made it, after 2 or 3 weeks. And that was like 2 weeks ago, and those haven't made it either. So I don't really know what to do about that. And as someone who runs an online shop and ships a lot, I'm really hesitant to go back to them and say, look, it still hasn't made it, because I understand that frustration of being the seller when the post office is not under your control. So I don't really know what I'm going to do. I guess just pray that they show up. But for now, I can show you these. No judging on how many patterns I bought, please, because, you know, stress shopping. So most of what I bought was Blackbird Designs, and I really liked their Garden Club series, so I bought a lot of them. This is number 1, basket of cherries, and I mean, really, it was about the basket of cherries and the bird. I've been obsessed with birds lately. I don't know. Apple Orchard is number 2. Honeybee is number 3, and I love that little beehive. There's one on Consider the Lilies, and that kind of did it for me for beehives. Plus, one of my employees keeps bees, and I just find it so fascinating. I try to chat her up about it all the time, but she's not super talkative. But I did convince her that we have a pretty big garden, and you know, we're growing it every year. It's one of my big goals to self-produce a lot of our own food, as far as like fruits and vegetables and stuff. But I did ask her, and I am like deathly afraid of bees, not allergic, just afraid. And I'm getting better about it. But I really would like to get some beehives to help pollinate the garden. But I don't want to collect the honey because I'm afraid. So I asked her if we got beehives, if she would come collect the honey and stuff, and maybe just give us a small jar. And she said she would. So I'm super excited. Probably not next year, but maybe the year after. We'll see. Anyway, back to the patterns. Sweet Home. And I don't know. That one's just cool. I don't know. I just liked that one. I can't pinpoint exactly what it is. Part of it might just be that I bought the whole series. This one is Tulip and Lily. And this is number 6. And again, there's a bird and flowers and this really cool flower pot. And then a lot of these were part of that back ordered. So the next one I have is number 10. And this was How Does the Lily Grow? And more flowers and birds, because it's a garden. And then Fairy Garden. And I think this is the first one that I bought. And then I started looking at the other ones and just ended up adding them all. But it's super cute. And that little house, the little fairy house. This one is All in a Row. And I'll probably stitch these on a much lighter fabric because I like things to pop. This one is All the Hills Echoed, and it has a peacock. And I mean, so I had to get it because peacocks. And then so the rest of those, there's a few more. I think like 7, 8, and 9 are what I'm waiting on for back order. And then because I was on a Blackbird Designs binge, I got Moonlight Visitor. And this was all about that moth. I don't know what it is about moths, but I'm totally enamored with them and how they're used in samplers and cross-stitch patterns right now. And then this is the last pattern that I just got. This was one of the back orders, and it got a little damaged because it wasn't shipped with a piece of cardboard to keep it flat. So my post office person, delivery person, who is amazing, but she folded it up into the mailbox. And this is Strawberry Sampler. And I'm basically just obsessed with all things strawberries in real life and in cross stitch. So I had to get this one. And again, it has that beehive and it has strawberries. So yeah, that's that one. So that's everything that came in the last 2 weeks. Like, I still think I'm waiting on 4 or 5 more patterns, and that doesn't count any of the digital patterns that I bought and haven't printed out yet because our printer was broken, but we just got a new one. So I might have to start printing some of them out and start showing you. But I do have one more thing to show. I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, I think, but Memphis, Sarah E, and I are planning a Halloween start because, you know, I'm not part of No New Starts anymore. I did my Royal Holiday birthday start, which was my one allowed start. And then, you know, the past few months have been so stressful. I decided I'm going to start something on Halloween, and that'll likely be it until the end of the year. Technically, the No New Starts is over like December 13th or something like that. So if I want to start anything for Christmas and still be true to that challenge, minus the Halloween start, then at the end of the year, I'd be allowed to start something else. I don't necessarily know that I want to, but who knows? Anyway, Memphis, Sarah E, and I are doing, it's technically called the Halloween Fairy, but there is another Halloween Fairy by Mirabilia, and so I'll probably call this the Trick or Treat Fairy. But we're going to be starting this on October 31st on Halloween, and I'll probably get a teeny tiny start because of taking the kids trick-or-treating. And usually on Sundays, you know, I go to church in the morning, we go have lunch, and then we come home and I'll take a Sunday afternoon nap. I mean, who am I kidding? I take a nap every day, but Sunday afternoon nap, there's something different about it. And then I've been filming FlossTube on Sundays, and it's really been working, so I do that. And then I really don't start stitching until like after dinner. So it'll probably be a teeny tiny start, but I'm going to start it on Halloween. And the thing that came this week that is very exciting, and I hope it's not too glary, is I got all the Krynics, and most of the beads, they were out of stock of one of the beads. And Sarah, our LNS is down in Memphis by where Sarah lives. And so they are ordering that other color of beads, and she promised she'd bring it up to me. Well, promised is a strong word. But she offered to get an extra pack and bring it up to me because she comes up to for crochet class on Monday nights. So I'll probably get it through them. And then, not that I'll need to use it anytime soon, but I just wanted to have it because it's so hard to get things nowadays, that I wanted to make sure that I had it on hand for whenever I do get to the beading in Krynic. So I'm very excited though, because look at these. I'm going to show it again. Look at these colors. I mean, it's just so cool. It's different when you're ordering online and you don't, even when you have the pattern in front of you, and you can't really tell because you just have that little tiny block of color. But this made me super excited. So now I'm not in a hurry for October to be done, but I'm kind of in a hurry for October to be done so I can start this. Anyway, that's really all I have for you today. Kind of a hot mess like usual, rambling on about random things, but you know, that's what you get with me sometimes. I hope y'all have a good week. If you know of any good spooky stitching hashtags, drop them in the comments down below, because I'd really love to like follow them and use them and all that stuff. I know Woolly Nights is a new FlossTuber. She just did her second video a couple days ago. She's doing spooky stitching season, I think. I'll put it up there. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, hashtag spooky stitching season. So I'll probably use that one. But I don't know if there are any others, and I'd love to find out because, like I said, I'd love to follow them. So, yeah, I hope you have a good week. I hope you get lots of stitching in or anything else that you want to be doing. And whatever you do, I hope you lead with love. Bye.